Here's more wrestling news for May 26, 2023, and we're starting off with WWE, and this July, the company will host its Money in the Bank Premium Live event from London, England, marking the first time that the show will happen outside the US. As reported yesterday, Cody Rhodes is being penciled in as a member of the men's ladder match, and Logan Paul is expected to work the show, but who else will be involved? According to WRKD Wrestling, WWE have their eyes on Dominic Mysterio for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, though his status is far from being confirmed. WWE higher-ups are said to be very high on Mysterio right now, with the belief that he has truly stepped out of his father's shadow since joining the Judgment Day. Mysterio has gone from being a happy but bland babyface to being a loathed heel, and his segments with Rhea Ripley are often the most viewed on WWE's YouTube channel. The Money in the Bank contract has the power to change careers, just ask the likes of Edge, CM Punk, and Daniel Bryan, and will Dominic Mysterio be next on that list? Time will tell. Last August, WWE announced the end of NXT UK, which was cancelled to make way for the company's newest developmental project, NXT Europe. At the time, it was said that NXT Europe would launch in 2023, but despite being nearly halfway through the year, we've heard very little about the upcoming brand. During the media call ahead of NXT Battleground, Shawn Michaels was asked about the status of NXT Europe and confirmed that the new show is still in the pipeline. Michaels added that from a company standpoint, WWE is waiting on the Endeavor deal to be finalized and for things to shake out before they fully begin plans for NXT Europe. When NXT UK ended, WWE cut the vast majority of the roster, with a select handful being moved to WWE NXT in Florida. While some ex-superstars have said in interviews that they are open to working in NXT Europe, there needs to be a brand first, and the new developmental system remains far away from being a reality. One name familiar with NXT is Austin Theory, but the former member of The Way has gone on to become quite the star on WWE's main roster. From being the youngest United States champion ever to defeating John Cena at WrestleMania, Theory has already accomplished a lot, but bigger things are to come. That's according to BWE, who reports that right now WWE has a huge plan for Theory, but it includes dropping the US title. The report notes that Theory will lose the Star Spangled Championship at SummerSlam before moving up, presumably into the world title picture. BWE didn't give any more information, just that Theory has a big story, and given that he's on Smackdown, a World Championship chase would put him in the sights of Roman Reigns. Austin Theory is someone WWE has been pushing as an upper mid-carder for some time now, but after he loses the US title, expect even bigger things in the future for A-Town. It was in 2013 that NXT introduced its Women's Championship, and fans and the roster would have to wait 8 years for another title. In 2021, NXT introduced its very own Women's Tag Team Championships, but we may not have to wait as long for more gold for the women of the Gold brand. When asked about adding a new women's title to NXT during the Battleground media call, Shawn Michaels said that he had toyed around with the idea multiple times in the past. However, Michaels also believes that NXT provides women with sufficient storylines that don't require a championship, but is open to revisiting the idea. It's not just in NXT that a new women's title has been discussed, as Dana Brooke, Raquel Rodriguez, Bayley, and others have been vocal about a women's mid-card title on the main roster. WWE has come a long way over the past decade in terms of its treatment of women and women's wrestling, but is a women's mid-card title in NXT the next step? Sound off in the comments. It was during a 2017 WWE Live event that Saraya would suffer an injury that would temporarily end her career, and it'd be nearly 5 years before she'd wrestle again. It's well documented that this injury not just affected Saraya physically, but rocked her mental health as well, but she wasn't the only person who was left suffering. Speaking to the New York Post, Saraya was asked about stepping into the ring with Mercedes Mone, whose kick caused the injury, and the British wrestler spoke about how Mone was affected by what happened. "I would want to do whatever she's comfortable with. That injury really affected her mental health, and I would want to respect that. I'm not saying she said no or anything like that, I'm just considering how I would feel." If AEW or New Japan do indeed plan to see Saraya and Mone face off, it will have to wait until the former Sasha Banks is healed, as she is currently out of action with a leg injury. Saraya has said multiple times that she holds no ill will to Mone and realizes that accidents happen in wrestling, and it's commendable that both have been able to move on from what happened over 5 years ago. From one member of the Knight family to another, as like his sister Saraya, Zack Zodiac has also made a name in the world of wrestling. As those who've seen Fighting With My Family will know, Saraya and Zack tried out together for WWE, but only Saraya was chosen, and Zack is yet to make it big in the United States. Saraya has been vocal on her brother getting a chance since then, and it turns out that he will soon get his chance. Speaking on the Mark Hoke show, Saraya said that she has spoken to Tony Khan about her brother and that the AEW president has promised her a dark match for him. Saraya added that they are currently working on getting Zack a visa, which should arrive in August, and wants her brother's story to be told as an underdog tale, much like her own journey to wrestling. Whether this dark match is the start of a lengthy run for Zack in AEW or just a one-off opportunity for him, it is a big deal that he's getting a chance to showcase himself, and we'll have to see what the brother of Saraya does in an all-elite ring. This August will certainly be a big month for Saraya, as in addition to her brother's visa, the month will see AEW head to the UK for the much-anticipated All In event. The show will no doubt be AEW's highest attended event ever, with over 60,000 seats being sold inside Wembley Stadium, but there are still a few things AEW needs to figure out. Speaking on the media call ahead of Double or Nothing, Khan was asked how audiences at home will watch the show and admitted that he can't give a comprehensive answer at this time. The UK's Greenwich Mean Time is 4 hours ahead of Eastern Time, and for Khan, the question is whether to host this event in the evening in the UK, which would mean it would air in the middle of the afternoon in the States. The other option is for the show to air at midnight in the UK and the usual time in the US, or perhaps tape the show in the UK and wait until later in the day to air it in the States. The issue there is the risk of spoilers being shared online, and whatever decision Tony Khan makes, it's one that will have to be made soon as we get ever closer to All In. And we're ending today with AEW Collision, as the show will be premiering next month, presumably with the involvement of CM Punk. Punk will be the biggest star of the show, with a roster made up of stars willing to work with him, but there are still decisions to be made about the on-screen product. When Tony Khan was asked about the commentary team for Collision during the Double or Nothing media call, he said he isn't prepared to make an announcement at this time. Jim Ross has expressed his hope that he will be part of AEW Collision, and as you'd expect, there's no shortage of people who'd like to hear arguably the greatest commentator of all time work on the show. Khan did mention that he has considered various options in the past, including individuals like Veda Scott, Kevin Kelly, and the current ROH broadcast team, but no decisions have been made yet. AEW Collision is a huge project for the company, and one that has taken a lot to make a reality, and time will tell who is calling the action on June 17th.